His comments came following the fall of the Assad regime in Syria.
The Assad regime has fallen. This regime brutalized and tortured and killed literally hundreds of thousands of innocent Syrians. The fall of the regime is a fundamental act of justice. It's a moment of historic opportunity for the long-suffering people of Syria to build a better future for their proud country. It's also a moment of risk and uncertainty.
Israeli army tanks and armored vehicles crossed the border fence, marking the so-called Alpha Line and entering the buffer zone, which separates the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights from Syria on Sunday night. Israeli Military Chief of Staff Herzi Halevi said on Sunday that Israeli troops are now engaged on 4 fronts as a result of new operations on the border of Syria and the Golan Heights. Halevi's comments came after Israel deployed soldiers into a demilitarized buffer zone in the Golan Heights after toppling of Bashar Assad's regime by Islamist rebels. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Israeli troops had seized a buffer zone in the Golan Heights established in 1974, saying it was to protect Israeli residents after Syrian troops abandoned positions. Sources say the Indian embassy in Syria's capital, Damascus, continues to remain operational and is in touch with all Indian nationals. All Indian nationals in Syria are safe and the embassy remains available to help them. Islamist-led rebels today said they have liberated Syria from the regime of Bashar al-Assad. In an advisory earlier, the Ministry of External Affairs asked Indians living in Syria to leave the country by the earliest available commercial flights. The advisory came before the rebels breached the capital, Damascus. Dr. Jaishankar, while speaking on the ongoing conflict in West Asia, has stressed that the primary concern is to stop the mounting death toll and underlined the need for achieving a quote-unquote immediate ceasefire, paving more humanitarian assistance and facilitating the return of hostages. India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri is in Dhaka and is raising India's concerns from the last few weeks. Misri embarked on a day-long visit to Bangladesh in the first high-level trip from New Delhi after a massive uprising ended deposed Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's 15-year rule in August. Misri is holding wide-ranging talks with his Bangladeshi counterpart and is expected to raise the issue of attacks on Hindus and other minorities in the country. Key issues on the agenda include trade, visa policies, connectivity, border killing, water sharing, and other matters of mutual interest. Following the meeting, Misri is scheduled to hold courtesy calls with Chief Advisor Dr. Muhammad Yunus and Foreign Affairs Advisor Tauheed Hossain. A 20-year-old Indian origin man working as a security guard was shot dead by a gang in Canada's Edmonton on Friday. The Edmonton Police Services have arrested 2 individuals and charged them with first-degree murder of the Indian origin man, Harshandeep Singh. The CCTV footage timestamp shows the murder took place on Friday, according to the police, at around 12:30 a.m. on Friday night. They responded to a report of a gunshot inside an apartment building. On reaching 107 Avenue, they found an unresponsive body in a stairwell and immediately performed first aid. Mr. Singh was taken to the hospital where he was declared dead. US President-elect Donald Trump has called for an immediate ceasefire and negotiations between Ukraine and Russia to end the madness, prompting Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and the Kremlin to list their conditions. Trump made his comments just hours after meeting Zelensky in Paris for their first face-to-face talks since Trump won last month's US election. The US President-elect has vowed to bring about a negotiated end to the conflict, but so far has not provided any details. US President-elect Donald Trump has outlined sweeping plans to overhaul US immigration policy. In an interview with NBC's Meet the Press, the president-elect doubled down on his campaign pledges to carry out mass deportations from day one, suggesting he is preparing an aggressive opening to his second term. Trump also said he would end automatic U.S. citizenship for children born in the country, a move that would immediately be challenged in the courts, but signaled openness to finding a path for undocumented immigrants who come to the U.S. as children. They're also known as dreamers, to stay. Trump also seemed to address concerns over the independence of Federal Reserve, saying he has no plans to replace Fed Chair Jerome Powell. President-elect Donald Trump has said that he is looking into issues of pardoning to his supporters involved in the attacks on the U.S. Capitol on January 6th. Trump claims he will bring legal relief to the January 6th rioters on his first day in office. Trump also stated that he will not weaponize the Justice Department against his political opponents. However, he did assert some of the members of the House committee that investigated the January 6th events should go to jail, accusing them of lying and destroying over a year of testimony. A woman who initially accused Sean Diddy Combs of sexual assault has expanded her lawsuit to include allegations against American rapper Jay-Z as well. The complainant, identified as Jane Doe, claims she was 13-year-old when the alleged assaults occurred during an after-party following the 2000 Video Music Awards. Jay-Z said labeled the lawsuit as blackmail attempt and accused her attorney Tony Busby of engaging in quote-unquote theatrics to extort money. Ghana's former president John Dramani Mahama has staged a political comeback by winning the West African nation's presidential election after his rival Vice President Mahamadou Bawumia conceded defeat this Sunday. The result of Ghana's general election is another blow to a ruling party in a region where voters, hit by economic hardships, high inflation and local currency depreciation, have caused upsets as they seek changes in leadership. Australian law enforcement authorities declared the Melbourne synagogue arson attack a terrorist act. Police said that the declaration gave investigators more resources, information and legal powers to pursue 3 suspects. Victoria Police Chief Commissioner Shane Patton added that investigators had made significant progress but declined to detail the progress for now. Take a listen.
That Joint Management Committee meeting has recommended that their belief is that this is likely a terrorist incident that has occurred. Based on that advice, we will now transition the investigation under the umbrella of the Joint Counter-Terrorism Team, which is a joint team ran by the Australian Federal Police and Victoria Police with expertise in these investigations, and we will continue that investigation. As I said, they will continue to be supported, though, by our arson explosives detectives and a range of other Victoria Police specialist resources.
South Korean authorities have imposed an overseas travel ban on President Yoon Suk-yeol as prosecutors weigh possible insurrection charges over his botched attempt to impose martial law last week. While Yoon survived an impeachment vote in an opposition-led parliament on Saturday, his political survival now hangs in tatters. The travel ban on the country's embattled leader was confirmed by the Corruption Investigation Office on Monday. His party previously said they will seek Yoon's resignation and urged the president to be suspended from duties to protect the country from grave danger. China's top leaders plan to loosen monetary policy and expand fiscal spending next year as Beijing braces for his second trade war when Donald Trump takes office next month. The 24-man Politburo led by President Xi Jinping announced it will embrace a moderately loose strategy for monetary policy in 2025, marking its first major shift in stance since 2011. According to official Xinhua news agency, the body also adopted stronger language on fiscal policy, saying it will be more proactive, a step up from proactive. China's Premier Li Qiang criticized trade protectionism at an economic meeting with heads of international organizations. China stated that there have been additional trade restrictions, including tariffs imposed by some countries, refrained from naming specific countries. Now, China is at odds over trade with the US and the EU. The EU has slapped import duties of up to 35% on electric vehicles from China, whereas US President-elect Donald Trump has threatened to sharply raise tariffs on all Chinese imports when he takes office. Australia and Nauru have signed a new treaty. Australia will give $140 million Australian dollars in budget and security support to Nauru, the Pacific island country, over the next 5 years. Australia's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said the treaty will ensure people in Nauru have access to banking services to strengthen its economy. The treaty will also provide budget support of $100 million Australian dollars. Additionally, Australia will invest $40 million Australian dollars to upgrade Nauru's policing and security to benefit the greater region.
Australia is Nauru's largest economic, security and development partner. We view this partnership as a serious responsibility and a sign of the enduring respect between our two nations. Together, in the spirit of friendship and cooperation, Nauru and Australia developed this treaty guided by the best interests of both countries. President Adeang has expressed clearly to me that Nauru's long-term economic resilience, including access to banking services, is his priority and Nauru's greatest need. Here in Australia, we recognise that the economic stability of our neighbours benefits our entire region. The Nauru-Australia Treaty will take our relationship to a new level.
After a series of official ceremonies aiming to celebrate its recovery from a devastating fire in 2019, Notre Dame opens its doors to the faithful with its first fully public Mass on Sunday evening. The liturgy was attended by 2,500 people, including French President Emmanuel Macron. Nearly 170 bishops from France and around the world took part, along with one priest from each of the 113 parishes of the French diocese. The cathedral, which previously welcomed 12 million annual visitors, is now expected to draw 15 million in its new chapter. Taiwan raised its alert level on Monday, saying China has set up 7 zones of reserved airspace and deployed naval fleets and Coast Guard boats in what a security source described as the first military drills across a broad swathe of the region's waters. According to reports, China currently has 90 Navy and Coast Guard ships in waters near Taiwan, the southern Japanese islands and the East and South China Seas, of which around 2/3 were Navy vessels.
There once was a tree, lovingly made to look real, yet looking real wasn't enough. It wanted to be real. One night it wondered, where are my roots? And an answer came. Your roots will grow within the hearts of those around you as you create very real memories. And for the first time, the tree felt real joy. Shop Cyber Week savings at balsamhill.co.uk.
This is an urgent appeal from the charity WaterAid. Every day, children like Karim have to walk miles to collect water like this, but they have no choice. Every day, babies have to drink water that is teeming with insects and bacteria, but they have no choice. Today, more than 1,000 children will die from poor sanitation, hygiene, and dirty water. They drink it because they have no choice. But you do. You can choose to give children like Karim clean water by texting or calling WaterAid now to give just £2 a month. Your £2 a month will help communities install pipes and taps that could bring children clean water for life. We've already brought clean water to nearly 30 million people, but it's simply not enough. So please, text the word water to 84025 or call 0800 088 7790. Thank you.
Save up to £220 on your home insurance. He's just used Confused. JustUsedConfused.com.
Where can my presents be hidden? Can Santa find us if we don't have a chimney? What if we don't have any food for Rudolph? Is Santa ever late? Why am I always alone?
At Childline, children are asking us the most heartbreaking questions, even on Christmas Day.
It's okay. I'm here.
When was the last time somebody was with you?
This Christmas, a child will contact us every 45 seconds. Will you give £20 and help us be ready for every question when a child has no one else to turn to? Search NSPCC or call 0800 702 2976 to give £20 now.
We know travel can be confusing, so let us inspire you. Welcome to Qatar. Experience it all. World-class hospitality, diverse landscapes from city to sea, and fly there with the Airline of the Year 2022, Qatar Airways. Book now at travelup.com or call 0207 580 5000. Travel Up, flights, hotels, holidays.
Struggled with a slide in South Korea on Monday. This comes ahead of a packed week of central bank meetings that should see borrowing costs take a step lower, while US inflation data are the last hurdle to see a further policy easing there. Chinese figures out on Monday showed consumer prices fell a surprisingly large 0.6% in November, pulling annual inflation down just 0.2% and underlining the need for more drastic policy stimulus. China's top electric vehicle producer Build Your Dreams, or BYD, has shown further market share gains, putting it on course to exceed its annual growth. BYD is now on a course to beat its annual sales target of 4 million vehicles, more than Japan's Honda and Detroit-based Ford in 2024 worldwide sales. Now, BYD has been on an extraordinary expansion this year, growing capacity and undertaking a massive hiring spree to turbocharge revenue. The Chinese company even overtook EV leader Tesla in the third quarter. The Chinese electric vehicle giant delivered 3.76 million vehicles in the first 11 months of this year. Private sector data by Tokyo Shoko Research shows Japan's bankruptcy filings this year are set to surpass 10,000 and hit the highest since 2013. In November, 841 Japanese companies went bankrupt, bringing the January to November tally to 9,164. The 2024 bankruptcy figure will likely exceed 10,000 for the first time since 2013, when 10,855 firms went bankrupt. Volkswagen and Labour representatives will hold a fourth round of talks over wage cuts and possible plant closures in what has become an increasingly bitter standoff that will be flanked by strikes at the carmakers' main German sites on Monday. The latest round of negotiations, which initially kicked off in September, comes as Europe's largest carmaker seeks ways to radically cut costs in Germany to better compete with cheaper Asian rivals that have entered its home market. Negotiations will start while workers will stage 4-hour strikes across 9 of the car manufacturers' sites, the second walkouts in a week. Workers who flat out dismiss any cuts to wages or plant closures can crank up the pressure by eventually staging 24-hour strikes and even open-ended ones in the case of a positive ballot. UK's Domino's Pizza Group has reached a new 5-year framework with its franchise partners. The company targets stores expansion and further investments. The new profitability and growth framework will start on the 3rd of January following the conclusion of the existing pacts. The framework, which got unanimous support from partners, aligns the company with franchisees through shared investment in marketing and technology. It also provides for incentives to push new store openings. Notre Dame Cathedral reopens after 5 years. A special celebration begins in Shanghai. A customized double-decker bus for the eternal Notre Dame VR journey features decorative elements combining Chinese and French characteristics. The second stop was the ongoing Eternal Notre Dame Immersive VR Experience exhibition at the Shanghai Exhibition Center. Visitors embarked on a unique 45-minute exploration journey through entering the exhibition hall and putting on VR glasses. The exhibition will continue until the 28th of February 2025. Listen in. The US House of Representatives is set to vote on an annual defense bill. The bill includes just over $3 billion for telecom companies to remove equipment made by Chinese telecom firms Huawei and ZTE from American wireless networks. The aim is to address security risks. The 1,800-page text was released late December 7th and includes other provisions aimed at China, including requiring a report on Chinese efforts to evade US national security regulations. The US government has approved the export of advanced artificial intelligence chips to a Microsoft-operated facility in the UAE. This comes as part of the company's partnership with Emirati AI firm G42. Microsoft invested $1.5 billion in G42 earlier this year, giving the US company a minority stake and a board seat. As part of the deal, G42 would use Microsoft's cloud services to run its artificial intelligence applications. European Union scientists have said that 2024 will be the world's warmest since records began, with extraordinarily high temperatures expected to persist into at least the first few months of 2025. The data from the EU's Copernicus Climate Change Services, or the C3S, comes 2 weeks after UN climate talks yielded a $300 billion deal to tackle climate change. A package poorer countries blasted as insufficient to cover the soaring cost of climate-related disasters. Indian chess grandmaster Gukesh Dommaraju won game 11 and has taken a crucial 6-5 lead in the FIDE World Championship in Singapore on the 8th of December. Dommaraju made a brilliant opening move that took his opponent by surprise and was focused to spend 38 minutes for his fourth move. However, Gukesh failed to take advantage and had to spend more than an hour on his 11th move before gathering himself to be in contention. Game 12 will be played today on the 9th of December before the players break for a much-needed rest.
I mean, today, today we just thought this idea is a good one. It worked really well. The opening goal was achieved, but then I did some stupid things. But I'm super happy that that I could pull myself back together and I'm obviously very happy with the result.
Walt Disney's animated film Moana 2 remained at the top of the box office in its second weekend in theaters. According to studio estimates, the film brought in another record haul, adding $52 million on the 8th of December. This brings its total domestic earnings to $300 million, surpassing the original, and its global tally to a staggering $600 million.
Now I kind of miss the lava monster.
No child should suffer the torture of trachoma, but so many are in pain right now. Nananga's lashes have turned inwards. they rip and tear away at his eyes. Pomelo's sight could be gone forever. He's just 3 years old. Kofanga screams for his mother. His eyes are so infected that he can't even see her. For so many children in the world's poorest countries, trachoma is torture. It's a painful infection often spread by flies, and it's destroying children's eyesight. But it could be stopped if you help today. By calling 0800 021 3925 and giving £2 a month to Sightsavers, you can help make sure children get the treatment they desperately need. You'll help us bring them the medicines and the care that can treat infections. And that means you'll be helping to save children from the torture of trachoma and a life of blindness. Please help us reach them. Call 0800 021 3925, text C7 to 82727, or go online and give just £2 a month now. Because we need you to help save the sight of children like Nananga. We need you to help save them from the torture of trachoma.
Transform hard chairs and surfaces into comfy seats with Soft Sitter from JML. The lightweight gel cushion that helps provide all-day comfort and support wherever you sit. The hexagonal honeycomb construction cushions, distributes and supports your weight. And its breathable design allows air to circulate, helping to keep you cool. Perfect for all types of seats or to use as a kneeling pad. Get the comfort and support you need this Christmas with Soft Sitter. Only $14.99 from Asda, Argos, Morrisons, Tesco and JMLdirect.com. JML, your Christmas made easier.
सर सबसे ज़्यादा ब्लॉकबस्टर फिल्में डिलीवर करी अमिताभ बच्चन के साथ में, और आप लोगों की जोड़ी टूटने का एक असर अमिताभ बच्चन जी पे भी जरूर पड़ा होगा।
जरूर पड़ा होगा। उनको इस बात का अफसोस हुआ होगा कि
कभी बात हुई उनकी आपकी इस सिलसिले में?
नहीं, मैं अगर होता उनकी जगह और जैसे जावेद साहब गए या मैं गया तो उनको यही राय देता है कि मत छोड़ो, अच्छा खासा तुम्हारी एक जोड़ी है, वो काम कर रही है, अच्छा खासा चल रहा है, काय के लिए इसको तोड़ते हो। तो मैं होता तो ये करता, समझे?
तो फिर आप उनकी बात सुन लेते और उसका फिर जोड़ी वापस आ जाती?
नहीं, जोड़ी वापस नहीं आती, मुझे जरूरत ही नहीं।
Breaking news coming in after political fireworks in Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha Chairman Jagdeep Dhankar has called Leader of the Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge and Leader of the House JP Nadda in his chamber to discuss on the Soros issue. It is likely that the discussion is being held on the Soros issue, but remember, the BJP has been claiming that Congress is working with the billionaire George Soros to destabilize India. And now, after we witnessed ruckus inside House, both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, the Rajya Sabha chairman has called up JP Nadda and Kharge. My colleague Aishwarya Jain is joining me for more on this. Aishwarya, what is the discussion likely about after Rajya Sabha chairman has called in JP Nadda and Kharge to his chamber?
Well, we saw another round of fireworks inside the house as far as the Rajya Sabha is concerned. There were a war of words that were broken out between the opposition parties and the treasury benches. The Bharatiya Janata Party MPs really wanted discussions on the links that had emerged between George Soros Foundation and Sonia Gandhi, and there were specific questions that were asked to the Congress party to clarify on the stand and what links they had with the George Soros Foundation. Remember, it was the Congress party MPs who stated that it is Rajya Sabha chairperson who is working in a biased manner as far as Rule 267 is concerned. Rajya Sabha chairperson first ignored the notices that were served, and later, under the same rule, it was given a chance to the BJP MPs to stand up and to raise that issue as to what needs to be discussed in the House. But certainly it is the Congress MPs who had targeted the Rajya Sabha chairperson as well, and it was Bharatiya Janata Party President and the Leader of the House in Rajya Sabha, Mr. JP Nadda, who stood up and stated about what George Soros Foundation is and how this foundation has worked and worked with an idea of having independent Kashmir. These are anti-India forces, is what Mr. Nadda also stated from the House, and Congress should clarify its stand is something that specific answers was something that was sought by the Leader of the House, to which it was Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge, who stood up and stated that whatever the Leader of the House is saying is absolutely false and it's incorrect according to the Leader of the Opposition. And soon after that, we saw again adjournment of Rajya Sabha, after which now what we are witnessing is Rajya Sabha chairperson has called both the Leader of the House and Leader of the Opposition to his chambers to discuss as to how to proceed ahead with the agenda, because a deadlock between the opposition parties and treasury benches